Welcome to the Rare History Channel. Ted Bundy, 21 terrifying and little-known facts about the serial killer. Enter the dark world of one of history's most infamous serial killers as we unravel the chilling tale of Ted Bundy. In this captivating video, we will delve into 21 shocking and intriguing facts that will keep you engaged from start to finish. Brace yourself for a journey through the twisted mind and horrifying crimes of a man who terrorized an entire nation. From his charming facade to his gruesome acts, each fact will shed light on the complex and sinister nature of Ted Bundy. Get ready to be captivated as we uncover the secrets behind one of the most notorious criminals in history. Stay tuned as we delve into the enigmatic world of Ted Bundy, and prepare to be fascinated and compelled to watch until the very end. Fact number 1. He was born as Theodore Robert Cowell on the 24th of November, 1946 in Burlington, Vermont, in the USA. At the age of 3, Ted Bundy's mother relocated from her parents' home to Tacoma, Washington. It was in Tacoma where she met Johnny Bundy, who worked as a cook in an army hospital. They got married in 1951, and as a result, Ted was adopted by Johnny and took on his last name. Number 2. As a kid, Bundy had a tough time finding a group of friends he truly fit in with. His childhood friend, Sandy Holt, shared that he often got teased because of his speech impediment. It made him feel like he didn't belong. Although he was okay at sports, he never made it onto any of the top teams in high school. So, he ended up spending a lot of his early years as a loner, just doing his own thing. Number 3. Bundy graduated from the University of Washington with a psychology degree in 1972. He fell in love with a wealthy young woman during his time there, and their breakup had a profound impact on him. Later on, Bundy transformed himself, becoming more confident and politically active. He even garnered a letter of recommendation from the Republican governor of Washington after working on his campaign. Number 4. Ted Bundy murdered over 30 women between 1974 and 1978. He claimed his first kidnapping attempt was in Ocean City, New Jersey, in 1969, but he didn't take anyone's life until 1971 in Seattle. While he admitted to 30 killings, it's believed that the actual number could be as high as 90 to 100 victims. During his trials, the serial killer dropped hints about the women he murdered, but he never provided specific details. As a result, these unidentified victims remain a mystery to authorities even today. Number 5. According to his confession to authors Hugh Ainsworth and Stephen Michaud, Bundy admitted to returning to the locations where he had hidden the bodies of his victims. During these visits, Bundy would groom the bodies and engage in sexual acts with the deceased women. He would only cease these activities once the decomposing corpses had been disturbed by wild animals. Number 6. During one of his trials, Bundy confessed to taking photographs of the corpses of his victims. Shockingly, he revealed that he had decapitated 12 of his victims' heads and kept them as macabre souvenirs, viewing them as reminders of his horrific deeds and what he considered to be his hard work. Number 7. Following his conviction, Bundy assisted the police in capturing Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. Using his expertise in motivation and psychology, he provided analysis that helped authorities locate Ridgway. Bundy advised investigators to stake out a fresh grave, as the killer was likely to return to the scene. Intriguingly, his involvement inspired the 1991 Oscar-winning thriller movie, The Silence of the Lambs, which was based on a novel by Thomas Harris. Number 8. In September 2016, Extreme Contracting was hired to remodel Ted Bundy's childhood home. The workers started experiencing eerie incidents during their work hours. They reported hearing knocks on the door and the sound of doorknobs jingling inside the house, even though they were the only ones present. Over the course of the 7-month remodeling project, the staff encountered around 30 strange occurrences. They even claimed to have discovered notes written in the dirt and sawdust of the basement, with messages like "Help me" and "Leave." Number 9. During interviews, Bundy typically presented his home life as an idyllic and morally upright Christian family. However, experts have strong indications that there was more to it than met the eye. Due to their conservative beliefs, Bundy was considered a bastard son when his mother became pregnant. Consequently, he grew up believing his grandparents were his actual parents, which could have influenced his perspective on various aspects of life. Number 10. Ted Bundy's crimes remained undetected until witness testimonies revealed a distinctive pattern. In 1974, numerous bodies were discovered in the Seattle, Washington area, yet law enforcement failed to connect the dots between these disappearances and murders. That changed when witnesses began describing a man wearing a cast, often seen at Lake Sammamish Park. These witnesses recounted encounters where the man approached women, asking for assistance with his car. As these shared details repeated themselves, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The disappearances of Denise Naslund and Janice Ott proved crucial in unraveling this recurring pattern. Number 11. One of Ted Bundy's escapees played a crucial role in his capture. In 1975, some of his escaped victims positively identified him in a police lineup. Among them, 18-year-old Carol Duranch became instrumental in ensuring Bundy's imprisonment as she bravely testified against him. Number 12. Ted Bundy employed a modified 1968 Volkswagen Beetle as his vehicle of enticement. The car was intentionally altered, lacking a passenger side handle and with the front seat removed, making it difficult for someone to escape. Interestingly, Bundy's Volkswagen is now exhibited at the Alcatraz East Crime Museum. Number 13. Ted Bundy, despite not being a licensed lawyer, decided to act as his own attorney during his trials. He believed that his appointed lawyers had preconceived notions of his guilt, which led him to take on the role himself. Bundy seemingly relished the attention and the theatricality that came with representing himself. It provided him with a sense of excitement as he fought for his life in a trial that could result in a death sentence. Number 14. During one of Ted Bundy's trials, a witness named Carolyn Boone fell in love with him. They had initially met as co-workers in Washington, but their feelings grew during the trial proceedings. In a surprising turn of events, Bundy proposed to Boone while she was serving as a witness, and she accepted. Boone went on to give birth to their daughter slightly over a year after Bundy was sentenced to death. Number 15. Experts and authors had a clear and chilling depiction of Ted Bundy. Biographer and thriller writer Ann Rule characterized him as a sadistic sociopath who derived immense pleasure from inflicting pain on others. According to her, Bundy found complete satisfaction in dominating the lives of his victims. Prior to his execution, Bundy himself declared that he was the epitome of cold-heartedness and lacked any trace of compassion. This description was reinforced by Polly Nelson, a defense team attorney, who portrayed him as the embodiment of pure and merciless evil. Number 16. In 1977, Ted Bundy managed to escape from prison not once, but twice. The first escape occurred when he was facing murder charges and acting as his own attorney. During a visit to the courthouse library, he took advantage of the situation by jumping out of a window, successfully evading capture. However, his freedom was short-lived, as he was apprehended just 8 days later. In a daring move, Bundy escaped custody again in December. He cleverly created a hole in the ceiling of his cell and shed over 30 pounds, 13.6 kilograms, to fit through the narrow opening. Astonishingly, authorities remained unaware of his absence for a staggering 15 hours, giving the serial killer a significant head start over the pursuing police. Number 17. Following his second prison escape, Bundy eventually arrived in Tallahassee, Florida. In the evening of January 14, 1978, he unlawfully entered the Chi Omega sorority house located at Florida State University. There, he brutally assaulted 4 young women, resulting in the deaths of 2 of them. Continuing his reign of terror, on February 9, Bundy abducted and murdered Kimberly Leach. The most damning evidence connecting Bundy to the 2 Chi Omega murders at FSU were bite marks on one of the bodies, which were a definitive match to Bundy. Number 18. Kimberly Leach, his last victim, was a 12-year-old high school student. Witnesses observed Bundy leading the girl towards his vehicle. During the investigation, authorities found the girl's blood, clothing, and skin fibers in his van. This brutal murder ultimately led to his execution in the electric chair. Number 19. On February 15, 1978, while coincidentally driving a stolen Volkswagen Beetle, Ted Bundy was pulled over by Officer David Lee in West Pensacola, Florida for traffic violations. He was arrested, gave a fake name, and did not reveal who he truly was for almost 2 full days. Number 20. Despite the possibility of avoiding the death penalty, Ted Bundy declined an offered plea bargain that would have sentenced him to 75 years in prison. The authorities proposed the deal if he confessed to the murders of Kimberly Leach and 3 other girls. However, Bundy chose to reject the bargain and opt for the electric chair. One of his defense team members, Mike Minerva, revealed that Bundy couldn't bring himself to publicly admit his guilt. Ultimately, his pride took precedence over his life, leading to his decision. Number 21. The authorities convicted Ted Bundy of murder in 1979 and sentenced him to death. He spent 10 years on death row. He was eventually executed in Rayford at 7:16 a.m. EST on Tuesday, the 24th of January, 1989. Ted Bundy's last words were directed at his attorney Jim Coleman and Methodist minister Fred Lawrence. "Jim and Fred, I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends.